guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, as you could probably tell, we're in a different location this time around. We're here for a very specific reason. So for today's video, we're gonna do like a little bit of like a vlog slash discussion slash advice kind of video. It's like an all-encompassing thing, so this one might be a little bit long. But if you stay throughout the whole thing, I would really appreciate it because I have a lot of things that I want to share with you. We're gonna talk about K-pop album collecting and photocard collecting and all that fun stuff because, as you could probably tell, I have a large-ish selection of K-pop albums, and I wanted to talk to you guys about like how I started collecting K-pop albums, when I started collecting K-pop albums, why I do it, and also talk about like photocard collecting and all that kind of stuff, just because like this is something that I'm really interested in and I find a lot of joy in it, and it's also just really fun. Before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you for stopping by, thank you for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, that really helps me out, and turn on post notifications if you want to get notified for every time that I post a video. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So back in May of last year, my family and I took a trip to Japan, and while we were there, we ran into a music store that actually sold K-pop albums. When I first saw them, I was like really caught off guard by like how beautiful they all were and just like how well packaged they were. The whole idea of like photo books and stuff just sounded really interesting. I was real shook when I realized that there was more than one version of an album, which at the time I was like real confused because I didn't know why you would want to make more than one version of the same exact album. But here we are. So clearly it works. When I took that trip to Japan and I saw all those K-pop albums, I was like, oh my god, I don't know why I didn't start collecting these sooner. That's kind of how my interest sparked. I originally started liking K-pop back in 2010, and then I fell out of touch with it in 2013, and then got back into K-pop back in like 2016. So it's been like a real like off and on kind of thing. So I got back into K-pop around January of 2016, and I only started thinking about getting K-pop albums during Red Velvet's Rookie promotions, because when I saw the packaging for the album, I was like, why is this album packaging just like a giant box? I didn't understand what the whole point of it was, why it was packaged so big. And then when I watched like unboxings of it, I was like, okay, there's a whole book inside of it with like pictures and things and just a random photo card in it. Flash forward to now, I have no words. I think K-pop albums are really interesting because everything is a very specific choice that these companies are doing with K-pop idols and K-pop groups and all that kinds of stuff when they follow through with a specific concept, not just for a music video, but also for like an entire era of an album or a comeback or whatever you may be. I think it's just super interesting how detailed everything is and how purposeful everything is. I think that K-pop albums are just so unique in both the way that they're marketed, but also the way that they just look. You get so much more for what you pay for. You get a full photo book of your favorite group with just like very, very nice pictures, and then they give you like a free photo card. Some albums come with extra like stickers and like posters and stuff like that, and it's all for a pretty reasonable price too, which that to me is something that I think Western artists like never did, which is why I think K-pop albums are just so interesting to me. It's seriously unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I think that's why I've been hooked ever since. So on to what I collect. My ultimate group is Red Velvet, so I collect every version of every Red Velvet album, as you can probably tell. I also started collecting all of ITZY's albums. I bought both versions because I couldn't decide which one I wanted, but I think it worked out in my favor because I'm really liking all of ITZY's stuff. I like all of their concepts. I like all of their music so far. I think they have a lot going for them, and I think I'm ready to full send and stan ITZY for the next however long they're a group. As for certain other groups, the only albums that I collect are one version of each album. So I do that for Twice, BTS, Chungha, Blackpink, Fromis9, Cherry Bullet, TXT, and IZ*ONE. For my other groups that I have albums for, I usually will just buy the album that I really liked. So for example, I have two Sistar albums. One is the Touch and Move album, the one with Touch My Body on it, and then I also have the Shake It album because that album is also really good. So like I don't have all of Sistar's albums, but I have the ones that I really enjoyed, and so I do that with certain groups. But yeah, in terms of Japanese releases for these groups, I only collect the Japanese versions for Red Velvet's albums because the Japanese versions are usually a little bit more expensive for some reason. I don't know why. Because of that, I will only get one version. Like if there's multiple versions of a Japanese album, I'll only get one. So I kind of just have to choose which one I want. Since I only go for Red Velvet's albums, I currently only have the limited edition version of Cookie Jar and the limited edition version. Well, I don't know if it's a limited edition version, but it comes in like the same packaging as the Cookie Jar album. But I have that version of Sappy. And since Red Velvet only have 2 Japanese albums, it's been a little bit easier. Plus they spaced it out really nicely, so it's not like I'm breaking my bank account part 5,000. That's kind of where I gauge my album collecting. So now I'm gonna show you all my collection in a little bit more like close-up detail. I'll show you how I organize them. I'll show you all the albums that I have. And yeah, just a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm not trying to like show off. I'm not trying to like flex on you all with all of the albums that I have. I just wanted to make this video because I really enjoy collecting albums and I want to share with you the things that I like to do. And this is one of them. So yeah, I'm going to show you all my albums. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to try to make this as not like weird as possible, but like I don't have really much room here, so we're just gonna go with this. So my entire top shelf is all of my Red Velvet albums. I wanted Red Velvet to have their own shelf, but because they're gonna come back with a day 2 for the Reef Festival, I'ma just have to figure that out. I might end up getting another shelf, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. So I have both versions of Ice Cream Cake. I have the Ice Cream Cake version, and then I also have the automatic version. And then I have the red, the velvet, and then Russian Roulette. This is one of my favorite albums. I really liked this concept, and I also really loved Russian Roulette as a title track. And then we have the Rookie albums. This was the hardest set of albums to get just because like it's an older release and there were 5 member versions. So we have the Irene version here, we have the Silgi version. This was by far the hardest album to get. I don't know why. And then we have the Wendy version, Joy version, and the Yeri version. We have the Red Summer. This is the first Red Velvet album that I got, which I was really excited about. And then we have the what album is this? The Perfect Velvet. This is the Peekaboo one. And then we have the Perfect Red Velvet, which is the repackage of this one. And then has the title track with Bad Boy. Wow, I'm running out of breath. And then we have the Cookie Jar album. This is the limited edition version. And then we have all of the Summer Magic albums. So this is the standard edition. And then I have all the individual members. So I have Irene's version, I have Silgi's version, I have Wendy's version, and then Joy's and Yeri's. Fun fact, I was originally only going to collect Irene's versions of like their albums and stuff when they do member stuff only, but yeah, as we can tell, that changed really quick. And then I have the Red Mare Kino video. I specifically bought this because I went to Red Bear and I really loved the concert so much that I was like, I wanted something to commemorate that experience. And then we have the RBB album. I got this one on Amazon just because I wanted the shipping to, you know, give me my album faster. And then we have the Sappy album. Then we have all of the Reef Festival. This is their most recent albums. So this is the guidebook version, and then I have all of the individual members. I was gonna display it with the like connecting thing because I know they all connect into like a giant like Red Velvet thing, but I personally like the way that this looks, just to see all the members on the side. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but yep. So that is all of my Red Velvet albums. And then right below we have all of my Twice on this side, and then all of my BTS on this side. So my Red Velvet shelf is organized from first release to most recent. This shelf is organized just by size because it looks better like that. So originally I did have it in release order, but this just looks better and it's not like all kinds of like weird up here. So I really like this. But we have all of Twice's albums. So I have this version of Merry and Happy. I have the blue version of Twiceagram with Nyan's sticker. This one also came with Sana, Dahyun, and Chaeyoung's photo book. And then we have the magenta version of Twice Coaster, Lane 1. And then I have the pink version of Signal. I love the photo book to this album, like, a lot. It's real cute. And then I have the blue version of Page 2. And then Twice's debut album, The Story Begins. I love every song on this album, so 10 out of 10 would recommend. We have Twice Coaster Lane 2. I like the pink version better because I just like the way that this aesthetic looks better than the orange version, but that's just me. Then I have the B version of What Is Love. Again, I really like this concept better than the first one, but What Is Love is... oh, stickers popping out. But I love the What Is Love era so much, like, it's my favorite from Twice. So I also have the monograph. I specifically bought it just because this is my favorite album from Twice, and it's also my favorite era of Twice. I also ended up getting the fancy monograph, which is, I'll do an unboxing for that later. But I'm really excited about the What Is Love era, and so I have both the album and the monograph. I also have the Summer Nights album. Then we have the Yes or Yes album. And I have the Year of Yes album. I was not a huge fan of the Year of Yes, but I don't know what to say. I just didn't really care for that era, but I support Twice and everything that they do, so thumbs up to that. And then I have the Twice Lights Twice scene. I went to Twice Lights, as you can probably tell in one of my vlogs. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it. But I wanted something to commemorate that experience, so I got the Twice scene. And then my favorite Twice album next to What Is Love is Fancy. I have the B version. This photo book is superior. I love this one so much. And yeah. And then right next to that, I have my Candy Bong Ziggy box, and then I put the original Candy Bong box in the back. My brother actually bought me the first Candy Bong, and I was super thrilled about it. And then when Twice announced that they were gonna put out these ones, I got real sad because, like, I never actually got to use my original Candy Bong, but it's fine. Then we have my BTS shelf. So this is the Young Forever night version, and then I have both versions of The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. I almost called this You Never Walk Alone. I'm so sorry. But I have part 1, and then I have part 2, and then I have the BTS World album. Then I have Persona. I have version 2 and 3 because I couldn't choose, because I love both of those concepts. School Love Affair. Then we have the Love Yourself albums. I have Love Yourself Her with the L version. I have Love Yourself Tear with the R version. And then I have Love Yourself Answer with the F version. Then we have the BTS Love Yourself Tour in Seoul. I loved this concert so much that I had to buy it. Like, I didn't even go to it, but I loved it. And then we have BTS's Dark and Wild, Oh Are You Late 2. We also have Too Cool for School, You Never Walk Alone, the right version, because the confetti concept is literally everything. And then the W version of Wings, because Jin and Taehyung are my biases. Like, I switch between the two, like, literally all the time. It's crazy. And then I kind of put this, like, little setup here because I think it looks cute with all of my BTS stuff. But this is the Persona clear photo pickets that come in a certain amount of albums. I don't really know how that works, but yeah, I ended up getting this in my version 3 album, which is the first album that I got. And then I have the BTS Speak Yourself slap bracelet. This was from the pop-up store in LA when I went to go see BTS in concert. And then we have my multi-stand shelf. This is like really, like, I'm literally like right here, so this is gonna be great. I have the factory version of Fromis 9's Fun Factory. Fun is a bop, and nobody can tell me otherwise. And then I have the Touch and Move album from Sistar, the holiday version of Girls' Generation's Holiday Night. I have the pink version of Blackpink's Kill This Love. And then in the back here, because this album is just gigantic, I have the Sistar Shake It mini album. As you can see, I'm moving my head because I have a light here. But I have the Bora version because Bora was my bias in Sistar. And then we have Firmus 9, so we have 2 Heart, and then we have 2 Day. Then we have Chungha's Offset. I have the set version. And then we have Chungha's Flourishing album, Blooming Blue, and Everything Just Fell. Chungha's Hands on Me. And then I have GOT7's Present You. I have the Jackson version. TXT's album, Cherry Bullet's debut album, and then Cherry Bullet's Love Adventure album. And then we have IOI's Miss Me. And I just knocked my candy bong. The shelf is a mess and I don't know what's going on. But I have Momoland's Freeze album, Momoland's Fun to the World album, IZ*ONE's Hard Ice album, ATEEZ's Treasure Episode 3 album, and then I have IZ*ONE Color Eyes, the color version, because the color version is superior. Nobody can tell me otherwise. And then we got Firmus 9's From 9 album, because Love Bomb is everything. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Part like 50. And then we have Blackpink's Square Up album. I really think Blackpink need to have a full-length album because I'm starving for more Blackpink content. And then down here I have a little ITZY shrine going because I'm literally obsessed with them recently. So I have the It's version and I have the Icy version of It's Icy. And then we have the It's Different photo book. I display this as if it's an album because I really wish that there was an album for this, but there isn't. So sad life. And then I have my Candy Bong Z over here, and then I have my original Candy Bong just kind of chilling. My Red Velvet light stick is somewhere over there, but it's fine. And I just have some Lomo cards that I got from Wish. These were literally like $2, but I have an Irene set, and then I have a Red Velvet, just really bad boy set. I'm thinking about using these if I do like trades and stuff for photo cards that I don't want anymore, or photo cards that I'm trying to trade out. So just include those as freebies maybe, I'm not sure. But for the most part, that is my full album collection. It's a little bit small, but you know, we make it work because this is all the room that we have. So those are all of my albums, and now I want to show you my photo card collection. Now, bear with me. My photo cards are not the prettiest setup right now. I think we're gonna have to get more binders to like separate them out because my photo card binder is a hot mess, but it's an organized hot mess. You'll see in a moment. So this right here is my photo card binder. I made this myself. It's a little funky. It's like a 6th grade art project is what I like to call it, but honestly it's really cute. I think it's super cute. But if you can see how much of a wild mess this is, yeah, I don't necessarily collect photo cards, to say the least. All of the photo cards that are in that binder are pretty much whatever pulls I get from the albums that I buy. The only time I will ever go out of my way to buy single photo cards is if I'm collecting Red Velvet's albums and I don't pull one member. I usually have pretty good luck in pulling my bias, which is Irene, and when I get multiple versions of albums, I'm usually really good at pulling one of each member but missing just one. So for example, the Reef Festival Day 1 version, I pulled everyone except Irene. So I have both versions of the Sogi card, but really I only need one. So I'm thinking about selling my Sogi version card because I already bought the Irene one, thinking that there wasn't going to be any Irene photo cards. So plus I got to choose which Irene photo card I wanted, so that made it a lot easier. But so I'll only buy a single photo card if I'm missing one member in a set. Right now she's a little bit of a mess, but I will show it to you guys anyway to give you a sense of what my organization looks like. It, like I said, it is an organized hot mess, but I understand how it works and I think it looks nice. But to some people this might be super jarring, and that I understand. But let me go ahead and show you my photo cards and how I organize them, and yeah. So let's do that. So here is the front cover, and then when you turn this over, I have a bunch of stickers and things like that in this little pocket right here. I really don't like the way that this is because this just looks real stupid to me. I don't know. But here are my photo cards. It starts with Red Velvet and then it goes all the way on to my other groups. This is a little bit of a hot mess, so bear with me. This is empty because I thought I was going to get a different photo card, but I ended up pulling 2 Wendy's. So if anybody wants to trade a Wendy for an Irene ice cream cake version, that would be great. But I have my photo cards here. So they're organized from the first era all the way into the end. If I have multiple photo cards from an era, I will organize them from their official member order. So I have Irene, missing Silgi, Wendy, Joy, and then I'm missing Yeri. But because I don't have 4 of the members, I'm not gonna complete the set, which is, it probably is a little bit confusing to you, but it works for me and that's how I justify that. So I have the Red Summer Peekaboo album, another Peekaboo album. No, wait, this is from the Bad Boy era. Yeah, what am I talking about? So then I have Irene and Wendy from the Bad Boy era. I always pull Joy in the Japanese versions. I don't know why, but that just happens. But luckily, I also pull Irene in pretty much everything, as you could probably tell. And she's my bias, so it works. And then, so we have Irene's power-up era, Sogi's power-up era, looking for Wendy's power-up era, Joy's, and then we have Yeri's. So in this case, I will end up looking for a Wendy version. So if anyone's selling anything, let me know. But yeah, so these are all like the official photo cards. This is how I organize them. I'm missing Irene's Rio Festival Day 1, so I already got that. That's coming in the mail soon. And then that's all for the official photo cards. And then for all of the freebies that I get, I usually put them after the official photo cards. So this came with the albums that I bought. This is a bunch of like transparent photo cards that I bought on my own. These were really cute. I just have all of those like that. And then we go into my next group. So I'm not going to flip through the whole thing, but if you guys can kind of tell, I have them organized very interestingly and it works fine for me. And then for groups that have group photo cards, what I'll do is I'll put all of the group photo cards first in the era that they were released, like the order. And then for the rest of it, I will just do, by era and all that. So kind of works out in a very interesting way. Twice's photo cards always look really cute because there are 9 of them and there's 9 pocket sheets. So they look really aesthetic, but yeah, so that's just pretty much all of my photo cards. Like I said, I'm not gonna flip through all of them, but you get the gist. So now that I've kind of gone over my collection, I kind of wanted to give you all advice on collecting just in general, because when I first started, I was very in over my head. I didn't know how to collect. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know if I even should collect. And just there's a whole bunch of things going through my mind, and I wanted to address that because I think it's helpful when other people kind of give their 2 cents on collecting albums. I definitely did this when I first started out. I was like, I want to know if other people do this. I want to know how people do this. And that has really helped me make decisions on what albums to collect, if I should collect photo cards and all that. So let me give you some tips and give you some advice. So the first piece of advice that I have would be to determine what you are collecting before you start collecting. First thing I would ask yourself is, whose albums are you going to collect? Are you going to collect your favorite groups? Are you going to collect just one group? Are you going to collect soloists only? Choose whatever works for you and what you're really looking for. And then from there, you can determine, okay, do I want just one version of every album, or do I want every version of every album, or do I just want the albums that I just like, not necessarily all of them, but the ones that I just really, really want. So if you're planning on getting multiple versions of an album, this can get really expensive. So for example, the rookie albums were about $20 a pop if we get them from when they were released. Now, if there's 5 versions of them, you take $20 each, times that by 5, that's $100. That is a lot of money for some people to spend all at once on just music albums. For a collector's purpose, you just need to be okay with spending that much in one shot, because that's just the nature of collecting, and I feel like there's no way around it. I started out by thinking I could space out my purchases and buy one version this time and then the other two versions this time and then another two versions the next time, that for me got more expensive than I had thought it was gonna be, because when you pay shipping on each order that you like submit, that shipping cost ends up racking up, and it ends up being cheaper just buying a whole set rather than just getting them individually. So that's why when I bought Itzy's albums, I got them as a pack, and it ended up being like a couple dollars cheaper, but those couple dollars will go very far, because in the long run, if you're collecting a lot of albums, those like little like $3, $2, $5 differences they really will add up. But if you're only collecting one version of an album, then that pretty much just doesn't apply to you, so you can just skip that tip. Next little like piece of advice is, if you are planning to collect albums from groups that have been around for a while or soloists that have been around for a while, I would strongly suggest looking for their first albums, like their debut stuff first, then work your way to the new ones, because looking for these rookie albums was not easy. I spent like 2.5 weeks on the internet, like literally every day, even like on my lunch breaks at work. I was just on my phone looking for the Sogi version of Rookie, and that takes up a lot of your time. And if you are like me and you are somebody who doesn't have that much time on their hands, you want to make sure that you are trying your best to get those albums that were released like years ago before focusing on their more current releases. So say you wanted to collect Girls' Generation's albums. They have been around for like 10, 11 years, 12 years, I think. If you're trying to look for their very first album, it's going to be a little bit hard, because it's been just so long since they debuted. And I know some stores do actually carry it. Like, I went to Choice Music in LA back like 2 weeks ago, and they had Girls' Generation's debut album. So it's gonna take a lot of searching. If you are going to do that, just bear in mind that you will be doing a lot of sitting on the internet and just digging through all of the places that just sell K-pop albums. Another tip I would say is use your resources. So the internet is a fantastic place to be looking for albums. I recently started using Reddit for K-pop albums, because there's a subreddit called K-pop collection, or K-pop albums for sale, or something like that, or K-pop for sale, I think is what it's called. And on that subreddit, there's a bunch of people who are trying to buy items. There are a bunch of people trying to sell stuff. There's a bunch of people trying to trade things. So depending on like what your price range is, you can get stuff for cheaper. You can get more exclusive stuff. You can get like individual photo cards. You can trade your photo cards. There's a whole community on that Reddit page that is incredibly helpful and are willing to just literally dive in and either buy, sell, or trade you anything. I think that was a really good avenue to like ask people where to find certain stuff, but also to like look through what people are selling. Do your research. But when I say that, I also say to be careful when you're shopping online, because sometimes, as sad as it is, there are scammers out there, and there are people who are trying to take your money for products that aren't actually the product that you want. Make sure that the product that you are buying is legit, and that the seller that you are buying from is legit, because the last thing you want is for your album to show up and find out that it's a fake one. And then in terms of photo card collecting, personally, I don't recommend it, because it can be a little bit too expensive, especially if you're somebody who doesn't buy a lot of albums. If you buy only one version of an album, but you want to start collecting all the photo cards, that is going to be a little bit more expensive, because it's harder for you to trade since you don't have as many photo cards to trade. It'll also be more expensive for you to buy individual photo cards, because those don't come cheap. Photo cards will most likely range anywhere between $5 to like $30, and it always depends on what group you're trying to look for. With groups like BTS, photo cards can reach up to like $30, because I've definitely seen Jungkook's photo cards go for like $25 to like $35, which is like crazy. But I know a lot of people like him, so that kind of like, I get it, but still it's a little bit expensive. And even Jimin's photo cards are a little bit expensive too. And I don't know what it is about the Magne line of BTS, but their photo cards end up being a little bit more expensive. You just kind of have to weigh your options in terms of photo card collecting. I just don't have that kind of money, so I'm not going to collect them. And even if I did have that much money, I don't think I would collect them either, because like my photo cards literally just sit in my binder and I just look at them every now and then. But other than that, that's all that they give to me. I can like look at these albums and I literally sometimes will flip through them like they're books. So I personally think that the albums are a better investment than the photo cards. But then again, if you are a photo card collector and you really want those photo cards, there's nothing stopping you. Go right ahead and go do it. But just in my opinion, I just don't think it's for me. So that's all for today's video, guys. Thank you for just kind of like sitting here and let me blab about the stuff that I want to talk about. But this is something that's really interesting to me, and I really like talking about my K-pop albums because it's something that I really enjoy doing. But if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and tell me if you collect K-pop photo cards and albums and things like that. And yeah, with that being said, that's the end of the video. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.